Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, this is Paul Alex, founder of Cash Swipe. I'm here with a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for a little bit over 5 years now. We actually met in an ATM Facebook group, believe it or not, guys. Okay. So if you guys have those limiting beliefs, because we get it all the time where people go ahead and they say, well, I don't have any friends. I don't have people that are business minded. I don't have people that want to go ahead and push me forward to my side hustle or whatnot. And it's just me and my alone. And I'm dealing with a bunch of haters back in my hometown. Well, number one, forget about them. They ain't going to do nothing. They're just comfortable where they're at. Number two, guys, you guys have the best technology in the world now, the internet. Okay. So use it. All right. Everybody is using it, but you got to use it for the right motives. Okay. Don't just be a consumer, be a producer. Okay. So, with that being said, I got a little presentation. I'm going to go ahead and actually introduce you guys to Mike. Mike has some phenomenal numbers over here that I want to show you guys so you guys are able to see who he is, what he's done, and really give him his flowers. Okay. So, guys, September 17th, we are live. So go ahead and drop Q&A questions. Guys, we are here with a man who is currently operating at over 179 ATMs, 180 starting tomorrow, Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Okay, December 18th, guys. All right. And can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure. Can you guys hear me? All right. All right, Matt. Yeah. So make sure you guys adjust your guys' sound. All right. We usually have an outlier every single time that's like, we can't hear you. No, it's your phone. So fix it. And we got you. Okay. So cool. Let me go fast forward to Mike's slide right here. So we got Mike Sandon, founder of High Country ATM, guys. He is the official ATM processing company for cashswipe.com. So, guys, for all you guys that are currently using our credit card processing model to grow your residual and passive income, this is the man who you guys will actually get mentored by when you guys decide to go ahead and transition into the ATM world. Okay, double dip. You got the clients already. You might as well do it, especially after this presentation. It's going to open your eyes. He has over 12 years of experience. Like I said, 180 ATMs starting tomorrow. He's currently processing over 1,400 clients, guys, in over 3,000 ATMs nationwide. Okay. And he's currently earning between $55,000 to $65,000 in profit from his own portfolio, guys. Give it up for Mike Sandon. Mike, welcome to the live, brother.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for that great intro, man. You know, I always tell everybody always asks me, how did you get there, man? I'm like, well, I didn't teleport. That's for darn sure. I had to work my A off to get there. And I started with one machine, right? 12 years ago, there wasn't, like you mentioned, technology. There was no ATM business, credit card machines, and anything online that you could find about the ATM business in general. As you know, and you've heard, I mean, you've been in the business a long time too. You know, it was a very secretive business, right? The veterans didn't put it out there, and you just go, "Wait, I can make money off of ATMs? Wait, you're telling me I'm going to make 30% returns off my cash on cash returns? What? How does this work?" You know, so yeah, I'd love to get into that story and talk about that, and I've got a lot more, and in particular is mindset, right? And mindset, lifestyle traps, assets over liabilities, all those things I want to cover for you guys today. So it's going to be a really good one. But yeah, thank you for that intro. You guys, Mike St. Don, founder, CEO of High Country ATM, been in the business 12 years. I started literally, I moved to Colorado from LA, right? All my LA peeps. I got out of there finally. It was just kind of a trap for me because my entire family had moved out. I stuck around out there, and I was in the mortgage business for several years. I went through the '08 crash. I lost everything. I was buried in loans and in debt, you know, and struggling. It was a big struggle. I was a 9-to-5er, and ended up going on my own, starting my own business, and became a broker. But that's when the real estate crash happened. I literally dumped 100 grand into my business via loans. And the day we opened, the crash happened. We couldn't close a loan for the life of me, right? So I ended up becoming homeless. I lost everything, literally, and I had to file bankruptcy and start over, right? So I said, well, if I'm gonna start over, I might as well get out of this state and just put myself in new surroundings and just start over. And that's what I did. Moved on to Utah for a little bit, worked in the hotel industry, did some insurance, still did mortgages, here and there. But Utah wasn't for me. But I was there to meet my beautiful wife, and I've got 3 kids. Oldest is 21, and my daughter just turned 13. She's just as tall as me now. It's crazy how fast time flies. She's at the point of 13 going on 18, right? So. And my son is 10, right? So we ended up, I took my family, fast forward to Colorado, where majority of my family is. And I thought, what the heck, I got to find a job. It ended up being a good friend of mine that I knew through a relative. Back in 2011, 2012 is when the dispensaries opened. So he says, hey, you don't consume marijuana. You don't do any of that. I need somebody to run this dispensary. I'm like, I don't know really the first thing about it, but I can learn it. Let's go. So that's what I did. I ended up managing that dispensary for a solid year and about a year and a half. But this is where it gets good, because they had an ATM in there, right? And my mentor, you know Lee, Paul, he used to come in there, his little trench coat. Lee looked all mafioso. He'd put his cash in the machine and he'd be out. He wasn't real talkative. And of course, everything is about your network is your net worth, right? Paul and I talk about this all the time. So I was like real fascinated. How do I get into this business? I'm going to start picking his brain every time he comes in here. And that's exactly what I did. I built some trust, and he gave me his card, said, hey, look, quit your job tomorrow and you could start servicing some of my machines. And so that's exactly what I did. I was working 1 day a week, servicing about 10 of his machines, and I replaced my income overnight. Now, that didn't stop there, because I was connected in the industry. I knew every vendor. I used my network, reached out to the people that I work with throughout the industry, and started placing my own machines. It all started with one 12 years ago, and lights out, you guys. And I always try to explain to people, like, now fast forward, like being in the 9 to 5 mindset, it was a big struggle for me early on, being an entrepreneur, coming from the 9 to 5. Right. And of course, I was still kind of working for my mentor, loading his machines, but I knew I had to replace that income with my own business's income to be financially free. And what I like to teach everyone is assets paying for liabilities. You have to think that way when you're an entrepreneur, especially in this business, because it's passive. You're in reality buying an asset that is going to cover a portion of your bills. With every ATM machine, you guys, every one of these you deploy, whether ATMs or merchant services credit card terminals, it's covering a portion of your bills, right? You're going to make income from that asset. So a good example is, let's say you have $3,000 in monthly expenses. That's your rent, utilities, car payment. I know that isn't on the West Coast in California or the East Coast in New York, but Midwest, that's totally doable, right? Very conservatively speaking, every time you deploy one of these ATMs, at minimum, you could be getting between $200 and $500 in net income per month off each one of these machines. Now, mind you, some will be much higher. I have machines netting $1,200, $1,500 to $2,000 a month, right? Some of them that are slower, you're just going to take this asset, which is a floating asset. You could just unbolt it and put it in your new location. It's a removable floating asset, so you can replace it and redeploy it, right? You own it. So what I'm getting at here is, if you've got 3,000 in bills, all you need is 15 of these machines at 200 net income to cover all your liabilities. Now you're considered financially free, right? Now, that's very conservative. Some do it in 8 machines, some do it in 5, some do it in 10, right? And that's the whole point. So yeah, I don't want to go dive into the next lesson, but I just wanted to talk about that briefly so everyone understands. And I do want to also talk about the ATM business and what exactly is like, how do you make money? I guess some people don't know how they make money in the ATM business. So when you deploy this machine, you're going to put your own cash in this machine once you get set up with processing. Okay. Once you do that, every time somebody uses this machine, you're going to charge a $3.50 surcharge, which you get to keep all of that surcharge. It's free processing with us. So you get to keep all of that and you can share it with your merchant if you'd like. We teach you how to not share it with the merchant in our program. It's better that you just don't give very much away because that eats into your profits. But um, you make a surcharge, right? And so you really want to put your ATM in a location that is cash intensive and has tips like barbershops and bowling alleys and you name it. There's a slew of locations, which I'll get into location tips later today. But you make money off that surcharge, and every ATM you deploy, it stacks and it's passive. You just put your cash in there, you get your money back every single day along with your surcharge. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole there, but
Yeah, it's all
I have
good.
so much,
It's all
I have
good.
so much to talk about. I mean, I can see it for hours, dude, and talk about the ATM business.
Guys,
So
for you guys, I just heard Mike's story. I'm pretty sure majority of you guys, because we have a lot of new people into this community. We're almost at 1,500 now in the past 3 weeks, which is cool. But guys, give it up for Mike. Go ahead and comment Mike down in the comments below. Show him some love, guys. We're gonna be talking about absolutely everything during this next hour, okay? And it's gonna blow your mind. So Mike and I, we're gonna go back and forth, okay? Q&A style. Mentor, Mike being the mentor, me being the mentee, and then you guys walking through a beginner's mindset into this, okay? And then that way Mike's able to give you all the sauce within an hour, okay? So guys, let me go ahead and do a share screen. And then, like I said, Mike, you and I, we're going to go back and forth, dude, during this presentation. Guys, we're going to be talking about, number one, how you guys can launch your own ATM within 30 days. Number two, this is going to be more of a Q&A, guys. Okay. Now, mind you, you have Mike here. Mike, starting tomorrow, Thursday, right? That's December 18th, guys. He's going to have over 180 ATMs. Okay. Some of you guys, you can't even fathom that right now. You're like, dude, I'm just trying to get like my first couple, right? So at the end of the day, you got to start from somewhere. Okay. Mike's been in the game for 12 years. So that's a pretty good pace for 12 years. Think about that. Okay. So top 5 tips in finding locations from the master here, Mike Sandon, in the ATM industry in 2026. Because the game has changed, guys. Strategies have changed. What worked back in 2018 when I started ATMs dramatically changed now in 2026. Okay. So Mike has been keeping up with all this. This is why I have him here, because I have the best of the best in our community to go ahead and provide you guys with the latest information. And then number 3, we're going to be talking about the brand new done for you ATM program with Meta ads. Okay. Now, this is actually pretty cool because it's a game changer, right? Traditional way of getting lead gen for the ATM industry would be cold calling, door knocking. It would be call center services, right? Which everybody knows about that. But no one is doing the Meta ads to the type of process that we're doing it. We're streamlining it, guys. So very excited to talk to you guys about this, to tell you exactly what we got going on, and you guys are going to be super excited to hear about this as well. As you guys know, for the people that don't know me, guys, here's my current portfolio. Ran 3 different companies in the past couple of years. Have helped over 6,000 clients in 3 different industries. Married. Have 1 son on the way on Saturday. Man, I'm about to be a papa in a couple of days. It is crazy, So when I hear Mike going ahead and saying, dude, I got a 21-year-old, I was like, there is no freaking way you got a 21-year-old, bro. That is insane to me. Right. So
well,
time flies, right? Time flies, right?
it flies, and you're like, man, I'm getting older by the day. I got to get aligned with my goals here.
Life is short, dude.
Yep.
Life is short.
Short.
And that's why we're here, right? We're trying to help people buy back their time. Right.
Bingo.
So buy back your time, make it happen. Don't go ahead and live a life of average. Okay. So you guys can go ahead and do what you guys want with your family, your time, and your why. Okay. So to continue with this, guys, I've done it all. You could say that, right? Sales Clean Solutions, was a certified dish machine repair guy slash inside sales guys for 6 years. Got promoted a few times in doing that in corporate America. Wore the suit and the tie, and then after 6 years, decided to go ahead and go crazy in the city of Oakland in California. Is equivalent to East LA, which Mike knows East LA as well. It's not the nicest place, but at the end of the day, if you want to be a cop, hey, that's where you guys want to go. So decided to do that for 7 years. Literally lived it. And the last 2 years, I was like, you know what? I'm getting older. My back hurts and I need to make money easier. So that's when I found ATMs. And you see that picture right there. Did ATMs for quite a while, guys. Did it started in 2018 and was in the game for about 5 years. That's when Mike and I, we met around 20 towards the end of 2020. Was it it was no, actually it was in the beginning of 2020, I would say, during COVID. Yeah, we
Yep.
messaged each other, guys. And this is how simple it is, guys. Vivian, make sure to check your audio. Okay. For the rest of you guys watching right now, can you guys hear me? Just I just want to confirm before I go. Okay, cool. You guys can hear me. Yeah, Vivian, check your audio. So this is how quickly your guys' network can really change the path that you guys head to in life. Okay. Because it was a phone call that we jumped on, Mike and I, after sending a couple messages, a couple emails, and we were like, yo, let's go ahead and start a program to educate people on starting their own ATM businesses nationwide. And in the beginning, we were like, we'll see if this works, right? And then once we start getting the first couple of clients, we were like, oh my God, it works. Okay, cool. And we went through the headaches, guys, and the headaches of making this as smooth as possible. Okay. And it's very hard because you have a lot of logistics. You got to go deliver a 200-pound machine. You have to train, rookies on how to go ahead and program these ATMs. You got to make sure that no one, gets hurt. You got to make sure that, people know what they're doing, that they don't get sued. And it's navigating. So just imagine that. And we're doing this for thousands of clients, guys. Well, a few years later, we're running one of the biggest ATM educational companies out there, guys. I mean, we're out there. We're it, right? And it's just insane. And then you guys know, if you guys have seen any of my other trainings, you guys have met my other mentors and business partners, Rob Sin and John Sarabia. Well, Mike is the reason why we're all connected. Okay. They met through a conference. They were like, yo, what is this with the ATM? They're like, bro, that's us. And then they were like, oh, bro, we got to go ahead and do the whole thing. And that's how the other company, Cash Swipe, started happening, guys. So the little short story, if you guys didn't know how that worked out. But guys, as you can see, just because currently right now, whatever it is that you're doing for a living, don't think that you're stuck. Don't think that you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life, because I'll tell you something. I never would have thought it would have been such a simple business, just as ATMs, automated teller machines, that allow me to become financially free, but also give me the taste of true entrepreneurship, guys. So that's all you need. You need your first small win. You don't need to be a multi-millionaire to leave your 9 to 5. And that's the biggest thing that I tell people. Okay. And that's where we're going to be talking about this when we're talking about how you guys can launch your own ATM within 30 days. Okay. So let's get into some stats before we start talking about the first needle mover here. Okay. Cash access. It's still huge in the US. People still use it. Mike, if people weren't using cash, I mean, dude, just a year and a half ago, I distinctly remember you were like at 130 ATMs, dude. And now you're at 180, you're closing into 200. If cash was slowing down, that wouldn't be possible for you, right?
Correct. I would probably sell the business and be out of it, but we've seen a 30% increase year over year for the last 5 years. And right along with cash discount, merchants are more like they're pushing cash now more than ever and offering discounts on services because of it. Because
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
we can get into that too. But yeah, no, cash is not going away. I don't pay attention to the news or what the media says because that's really like 0.5% of the entire nation, right? There's still 20, what is it, 17 to 20% unbanked that can't even get a bank and rely on cash, right? And so, yeah, no, cash is not going away. And matter of fact, it's going to be good for the next at least 20 years because of the cash discount program, because the merchant service side of it, which I'll let you touch on that. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
going anywhere. Not in my lifetime.
Yeah, and we'll get at that in a little bit with cash discount, guys, and how that works on the credit card processing side. It feeds right into ATMs. But here's a little fun fact: if you guys did not know, you guys can actually go ahead and Google this right now if you'd want. Okay, to fact check. But in 2025, about 88% of US households still use ATMs, believe it or not, guys. Okay, as much as the naysayers go ahead, oh, cash is dead. I guarantee you, when the taco truck is going ahead and saying, hey, cash only, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to Apple Pay them? No, they're not accepting that. Okay. So at the end of the day, they're still using ATMs. But here's a fun fact: a lot of people are using larger withdrawals now. Okay. That is a true fact. Why? So they can use the ATM less, but at the end of the day, the business is still growing, just like Mike said. Okay. People still need it. They still want ATM access. But now what's happening is technology is making the industry grow. Okay. So now the ATMs, they're coming more integrated with you being able to use possibly in the future with certain models, right? Deposit checks. Go ahead and actually use your phone, the debit card on your phone to go ahead and do the contlet, what is it? The contless or what do you call it, Mike? When you can use the phone to go ahead and actually ping the ATM
You
now.
just tap to pay, yeah. And
Tap
you
to
could also
pay.
do, yeah, you could also send money from your phone to an ATM and say I'm out of state and my daughter needs $100. I can send it to an ATM. She could use a code, pull out that cash anywhere,
So
right?
there is different services nowadays, guys, that I mean, it's just growing and growing and growing, and there's a need for it. Okay, so they're moving with the actual future here. Okay, so why does it matter to a new entrepreneur, guys? Because obviously, if you're here right now, residual income for beginners in this community is one of the largest community for people that are interested in residual income. I mean, you're more than likely you're a beginner, right? So this matters to you because number one, it's a limiting belief. It's a limiting belief that all cash is dying. You know how long people has been telling us that? Okay, you know how long? Even before I got my first ATM back in 2018, people were like, "Dude, why are you doing that? It's already saturated." Well, I mean, look at me now, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, look at all the people we've helped. So it continues to grow. So don't let someone else limiting belief go ahead and hold you back from doing something that you guys want to do. Okay, cash sales matters to millions of Americans. It's a per transaction amount, like I said, guys, which means bigger potential revenue. So here's a fun fact, guys, for all the beginners. Okay, and Mike can go ahead and chime into this. Is that when you guys get a withdrawal from somebody who withdraws over $200, typically from your ATM, that means you guys can charge more. Okay. Typically in ATMs across the United States, on average, you'll see anywhere between $3, sometimes $3.50. In Puerto Rico, you'll see $4.50. And that hurts me every single time I got to use it. But hey, it's the only ATM around, right? So at the end of the day, when I go ahead and I withdraw more than, let's say, $300, now they are charging a percentage. So what does that mean to you as the ATM deployer? That means you guys make more money. Okay, Mike, you want to chime into that?
No, you hit the nail on the head. I was going to make sure you said that. Yeah, percentages is it's where it's moving. So I set the dispense limit, which is the amount people can withdraw, at $1,000. Well, anything over 200, the percentage is going to kick in. So that way, you're not, giving all your money out. They're not draining your ATM without making a higher commission off of it. So no, it's well said.
No, absolutely. Banks, businesses, are you investing in better ATM tech, guys? Believe it or not, okay. There's room for innovation with smart machines, new services, and better software. Profitability, it's still going to stay strong. Okay. It just really depends on placement and your fee strategy. Okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat. All right. And you guys have to learn from people that know. All right. Because it's equivalent to when people go ahead and say, oh, you're in credit card processing. How are you building a multi-million dollar company or have a multi-million dollar company in credit card processing when it's already saturated? See, that's what I call ignorance. It's ignorance when you don't want to self-educate yourself, because little do they know, I'm for the business owner. Mike is for the business owner. We want to help all business owners in the United States and in Canada save a ton of money, right? So the strategy that we use is solely to help business owners win. And when they win, guess what? We win because we all get paid. It's the only way. Okay. So, guys, biggest pain point. You guys know this, especially if you guys have seen any of my live trainings. I hyper focus on what is the pain point behind my customers. It's the only way. Okay. So if you're good, you know what to focus on. So on ATMs, and Mike was just touching on this, it's directly connected with number one, inflation. Number two, cash discount program. This is a strategy that we use in credit card processing, which gives consumers, okay, the option to either pay with an item, service, or product with either cash or their credit card when they go to the store. If they choose to pay with credit card, they are paying their own convenience fee. Okay. And for my naysayers that this is the first time you guys are hearing this and you guys are like, oh my God, I'm telling you right now, it is a winning strategy. Why? Because more than ever, inflation is hurting the profitability of all businesses across the board. Okay. So when the food industry, restaurants that you guys go to in your hometown that have been in business for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you guys love that food, right? And they get hit and they're about to go out of business. Do you think as a consumer that you're going to blink an eye to pay an additional 30 cents? No, you're not, because you love the food. You love the customer service. You love the restaurant that's been there for 10, 15, 20 years, right? So at the end of the day, it is a limiting belief behind the naysayers and the people that want to stay average. They're just making an excuse that they're going to say, oh, well, consumers are not going to pay for that. One out of hundreds of people are going to complain. And guess what? They're still going to pay. You know why? Because they still want the product. That's the way it goes, right, Mike?
That's 100% correct. Absolutely. I mean,
That's it.
everyone's charging a fee now I mean, every business I go into, and what I see is opportunity.
Mhm.
Actually, it's a mindset shift. When I see somebody doing cash discount and charging me a fee and offering me a discount to pay in cash, they're getting an ATM. Absolutely. For free. I'm going to give them one for their customers to help the business owner lower their costs. That's what it's all about. The customer, 100%.
That's it. Biggest pain point, guys, money. Money, 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 money. That's what it is, right? So don't listen to the people that are like, you always talk about money. Well, you need money in order to live. You need money to go ahead and cover your family. You need money to be a provider. You need money to go ahead and buy options. So at the end of the day, I'm never going to make that an excuse because I'm going to be there to provide just like every single one of you guys. So business owners are getting hit from all sides. Let's be real. Let's talk about the times. Let's talk about the truth. Inflation is through the roof. Okay. Who's providing the jobs? The business owner. So who's suffering the most? The business owners, not the consumers. Because if people are still going out to eat, that means they have money. They could go ahead and cook at home. So credit card processing fees keep going up. That's the truth. See, Mike has a humongous portfolio of 179 ATMs currently. Okay, 180 tomorrow. But little do you guys know, he's also in credit card processing as well. Mike, what's your experience with credit card processing now right now?
It's not like it is with ATMs, right? Still
Yeah.
learning like
And that
everybody
and that's
else.
okay. And that's okay.
Okay. That's okay. I got a great team surrounding me that helps me when I need it, right? That's the biggest thing is having the right team on your side when you need answers to some of your questions. But yeah, I've got about 15 locations right now. My second
That
deal was my largest deal that I've ever done. I had no idea what I was doing. I winged it all to all get up, right? Took us 6 weeks to accomplish it, and it's yielding me $2,100 a month. But
love
I
it.
had people come in and help. I had to bring people in because it was a massive restaurant with POS systems and all that. But here's the thing, relationships. The only reason he switched to me is because he was a friend of mine. I had my ATM in there for a year and a half, and it took me that long to win over his merchant services, right? Like I had the relationship and trust built, which is key if you want to be successful in either of these businesses, really. You've got to establish the trust first and make them comfortable. They trust you, they know you, and for me, that was it. I had my ATM in there. I was servicing it once a week for the last year. I was just throwing in this, planting the seeds, asking him about his merchant statement, and finally one day he had it with his merchant services company, and he says, "Mike, all right, I think I'm ready to talk to you. What can you do for me?" Right? That's all it took. But we have that relationship. He trusts me. He knows my kids. I'm a customer of his, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer for him. So that ended up being my biggest deal. And then I shifted. I go, okay, here's my strategy from here on out. I'm going to give everyone a free ATM, give these businesses a free ATM, and then I'm going to work on their merchant services and build the relationship in the process, because that's key. I mean, having that relationship drops the barriers. It's when you go into a location and they say no to you, it doesn't mean no. It just means I don't know you yet, right?
I love that.
So I always teach relationships first, business second, and that actually helps with longevity, right? There once the relationship is built, there you're a client for life, you know. So it takes a little longer on my end, but I know that it's real sticky, you know. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And just like Mike, you guys can double dip. You guys could go with either strategy where either you're going to get your foot in through the door with either an ATM or a credit card machine, and then go vice versa, right? Start working on the other side of the deal, guys. So it's where it's at, guys. But let's go ahead and start with our 10-step process when it goes into starting your ATM in the next 30 days, guys. Okay. So go ahead, take out a pen, take out a paper. Also, by the way, guys, you guys have been great with engagement. Okay. So if you're currently in this community right now, residual income for beginners, number one, invite a friend. Okay. Invite a friend to this community. Number two, go ahead and comment the word PDF if you guys want a copy of this presentation at the very end of this live. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we'll give you access to this PDF. And by all means, if you guys want to shoot me a DM directly so I could go ahead and send you your PDF personally right after I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and do so. Okay. It's very easy in this community, very easy to communicate with each other. Go ahead, close mouths don't get fed, right? Okay. So, number one, you got to make a decision and you got to get serious, right? Mike, what's the difference between a wantrepreneur and an entrepreneur?
just making that decision to get started today and
That's
right
it.
now.
Being
That was the
decisive.
biggest thing for me. What's that word you always say, or what's that phrase? You know, about being. I don't know. I forget what you used to say all the time, but you don't analysis paralysis. There we go. Yep, I
You,
find myself in that, and I did when I first started. It took me quite a few weeks actually to just kind of get started and get going. After I made the decision to do it, I'm still stuck in analysis paralysis. So,
It happens
yeah.
all the time, guys. It happens all the time. But there's a couple of variables and things that you guys can do in order to get out of that analysis paralysis. Number one, biggest one for me, it was environment. Okay. So if you're currently in a toxic environment, you're around toxic people, guess what? You got to change that. You got to change your circle. You got to change who you talk about. Number two, what are you listening to every day? And I'm not talking about just music, right? No, I'm talking about your communication skills. Who are you communicating with? Are you communicating with negative people? Are you communicating with people that are actually going ahead and being positive in your life, that's reinforcing your ideas, that's reinforcing your plans, that's actually going ahead and pushing you to be the greater version of yourself? Or are you listening to naysayers that are saying, oh, that can't happen for you? Oh, well, good luck. Oh, that little business, right? Fuck all that. You want to go ahead and be around people that are going to push you every single day. It matters. Okay. Let's go into number two. This is one of the hardest decisions that I ask beginners, especially when I ask myself when I started my ATM business, guys, is how am I going to fund this? Right? That's the scariest moment when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially in the very beginning, guys. You know, I'll go with my story and then I'll let Mike go ahead and chime in on his when he started. But when I started, guys, I put my first few machines on a 0% interest credit card. Okay. And I always tell people that I was just like, that's the way I started. I did have a little bit of cash in the bank from working a lot of overtime, but at the end of the day, I needed number one, I needed money to fill my ATMs. Okay. And you'll learn here in the next couple of minutes that you need to fill out your own ATMs with your own cash. It's not the bank's money. It's no one else's money until later on, once you start getting bigger, right? But the first couple of ATMs is going to be your money. Okay. And then the other thing is just leverage. To me, if you're able to use 0% interest for 12 months and you're able to use that as leverage while you're growing your businesses, I mean, that is the smartest move that you can do. Okay. And also, it keeps you accountable. Now you have to go ahead and make it happen. There's no excuses of you like, well, it's not working out. Oh, well, I'm not making money on this first location. It's just like Mike has said, this is a floating asset. Okay. That's something that Mike I think you created that saying, dude. It always stuck with me. Floating asset, because if it doesn't work in one location, guess what? You could float somewhere else and make some money. That's what happened to me when I had my first mentor. So at the end of the day, it is very possible for every single one of you guys. Okay, Mike, what is your story in the very beginning? How did you get the funding for this?
I used the last like 13 grand in my name. And I was like, it was just super scary, right? I'm like, oh, am I going to lose it all? What happens if the machine gets stolen? I mean, I had all these fears because I was still 9 to 5 mindset, right? When I first started. Um, and so, yeah, no, that's what I did. And then eventually I got to the point when I bought my first ATM, I had to use a 0% interest credit card to get funding. And then eventually I maxed that out and I had to pull a second out on my house, which was even scarier, right? My wife's like, "What are you doing? Is this going to work? Are you crazy?" I'm like, just calm down, babe. Just calm down. I got this. That was the best financial decision I ever made because I would never be where I am today if I had not done that,
That's right.
right? And I just out in the trenches, head to the grindstone every day, hustling, talking to people. Network is your net worth, meeting business owners, and just playing what I call, here's another one, Paul, that you'll remember, musical ATMs. That's what I call it. Because if it doesn't work, I own it. When I'm always looking for locations, right? Always. Every day I go out, I'm like, oh, they don't have an ATM. I'm coming back here. Mental note. Musical ATMs. And you just move the ATM. That's it. Simple as
That's
that. It's real easy to do because it's already programmed and ready to go.
it.
Super simple.
Got to keep it simple, man. I mean, ATM business is a very simple business. I truly believe, and I know Mike can agree, that anyone can do this business. You just got to be able to follow directions. That's it, right? And not give up. That's the biggest thing. Follow directions and not give up, okay? But the biggest thing is starting off with a proper mindset, okay? So, number 3, form a basic LLC, guys. Now, I could go deep into the weeds with, you know, oh yeah, you guys need a limited liability company. You should get an S corp. You should do all this. But look, guys, keep it very, very simple. If you're currently a one man or one woman team, all you need is some coverage. That's as simple as I'm going to leave this. Okay. You need some coverage to protect yourself just in case shit goes sideways with someone trying to sue you for some stupid reason. Okay. You want to cover your personal liabilities. We're talking about your house, talking about your personal income from your 9 to 5. We're talking about all that you've worked so hard for. Okay. So get the LLC, get it just a basic one, limited liability company, and just cover yourself just in case something goes wrong. Later on, once you start cash flowing, hire an expert. Hire an expert. All right. I talk from experience. So hire a CPA. Shoot, you make enough, hire a tax lawyer. Okay. And then have them advise you based on the cash flow that you're coming in, whether you need an S corp, and then all that fancy tax advice that they could go ahead and provide you. Because there's some cool things out there that these lawyers and the CPAs they can advise you on. Okay, I didn't learn about the whole Puerto Rico move until the last couple of years. Now I've transitioned. Now guess what? I'm only going to be paying 4%. Actually, starting in 2026, which is fire. I'm super excited about that. Right. So, Mike, any advice regarding the LLC?
Keep it simple. Your state usually has like a Secretary of State website. I know in Colorado it's like $75 to file one. Real simple. Um, Not overcomplicated at all. Or I think it's what Busy, or I think there's a couple websites that do it too. And
Like,
they charge a couple
yeah,
bucks. Is it Busy?
Biz Inc. Something,
Something like that. But
busy.
that's
Yeah.
that's the easiest part is just forming an LLC.
Yeah. No, absolutely, guys. Okay. Find a trustworthy, and we got a misspelling right here, but find a trustworthy processing company. Now, I'm going to let Mike go ahead and take control of this one just because he has the most experience, guys. But from what I could tell you based on my history, is when I started and I signed up with one of the biggest processing companies in the ATM industry back when I started, I got signed up on a pretty bad contract where they were taking actually a percentage of my actual surcharge fees. Okay. Which majority of processing companies should not do that. Okay. Now, is it absolutely free to use processing? No, it's not. Not especially going into 2026. No, it's not. You're going to be getting charged. You shouldn't be paying more than $10 a month for processing. Okay. $10 and less, green light, good to go. Okay. But anything more than that, look somewhere else. Okay. The biggest thing is you just want a reliable partner that's going to give you the network and also some added benefits, some coaching, some advice, where you could get the ATMs. Some of the best processing companies out there, they're able to offer you ATMs, so they have the connections with the manufacturers, all that jazz. Okay. So make sure that you guys do your due diligence and make sure that you actually talk to the person. Because if they're giving you a hard time before you even do business with them, guess what? They're going to give you a hard time while you're doing business with them. And you don't want to deal with that shit. Okay. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, Paul, a lot of bad apples. I'm actually dealing with a client right now who's just begging to come over and process with us, but he's stuck in a 5 year. I think he's got 2.5 years left. He's got 40 something machines, and they're just, oh, they're taking, 25 cents of his transactional, per transaction. Um, and they're gonna basically, if he were to leave them right now and they find out, they'll sue him for about $35,000. So he can't do anything, but he's got it on his calendar. He can't wait to switch over to us. But you guys, you make sure that you're getting 100% of your surcharge. That's first and foremost. Okay, a lot of these bigger name companies, and I will not mention names because I know a lot of them, and they know me. They want to lock you into a long-term contract. So make sure whoever you work with, you're not getting locked into any contract. We don't do contracts because I'm confident enough in our team and our processing and our training. And if I'm not doing my job, I personally would want the ability to go and move and go anywhere I want. Right. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Yeah, Paul, he just he paid 7K to get out of his first ATM contract. I'm sure you could touch on that. That was a nightmare situation, right? But you
Yes,
didn't
sir.
know. What you don't know is what you don't know, right? So make sure you're with a processor that can fulfill your equipment at wholesale prices. A lot of these companies will jack you up into higher equipment cost and offer what they say free processing, but still charge you a ton of fees, invoice fees, and all these other miscellaneous fees, which add up. But then they also are real sneaky, Paul. What I'm noticing now is say, hey, I'll give you $400 off of your ATM, right? But you got to sign that 5 year contract. And then we're going to take 10 cents per transaction. So again, they're trying to get a portion of that surcharge. You want to keep all of that surcharge. And what that surcharge means is when you charge $3 on that ATM per withdrawal, you want to keep 100% of that. Okay. That's key. And just don't get locked into a long term or any contract, actually, at all whatsoever. And make sure you do business with who you trust. There's a lot of snakes in the grass in this business. It is a small community of ATM, like in the ATM world. But remember, you're giving your social security, your banking information, your date of birth, your driver's license. Make sure it's to a company that's going to like take care of your information and lock it away like securely. Find out that information. Okay. And they're not just printing it out and putting it into a file cabinet somewhere where there's no security measures in place. Make sure you trust who you're doing business with. That's kind of a big one for me. Um, but at the end of the day, guys, you guys should be making all of your surcharge. Now processors charge like, $5 or $10 admin fee. Well, that's pretty standard and customary now because there's a lot of work that has to be done. That's how processors make a profit. They got to make a profit. Um, but yeah, those are the big ones, Paul, is just making sure no contract. I mean, I know personally I wouldn't want to be locked in.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I never have been locked in. And I know your story is, that that's unfortunately a lot of deployers are stuck in long-term contracts with the big boys right now.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, it sort of sucks, and it's equivalent to how you guys do business as well, right? And for a lot of you guys that tune into our lives, or you guys heard us speak before, and how we go ahead and do deals, right? Um, you know, we strongly believe on month to month when we deal with our clients. So if we're doing that with our clients, the same expectations would be with someone that is trying to provide their service to us, right? And I do that across the board with all my vendors, guys. It doesn't matter what they do for me. But at the end of the day, if they're doing a good business, they shouldn't harp on, hey, let's sign a couple year contract. To me, that's a red flag. Why? Okay. If your business is good, you provide good service, then it should be, month to month, or I should be able to walk away. Right. So just a couple things from us to you guys. Okay, let's go into number 5, finding a new ATM. And why do we emphasize new? So when you are new, buy new, because when you buy used, somebody can polish up that ATM really nice, guys. They can refurbish a couple of those parts, the internals of the ATM, but you truly do not know what that machine has gone through. Okay. And it may not have the latest and greatest technology out there. It might have some outdated technology that will get you in trouble with actual laws out there. So you got to be very careful when you go and buy a used ATM. And we've seen it so many times. I think the most heartbreaking story I remember was 3 years ago. We had an older fellow that we were helping, and he's like, "Hey, Paul, I had already bought an entire storage of ATMs." I was like, "How many did you buy?" He said, 12. How much did you pay for it? He said he paid about 4 grand for 12 ATMs. Number one, that's a red flag already, because ATMs even 3 years ago cost around like $2,200. Okay, so the fact that he got 12, and when he sent me the picture, I just like I just looked down. I was just like, no, guys, these ATMs look like something from Star Wars. Okay, it looked hideous. I was just like, dude, were these machines created in the 1980s? Like, where the hell did you get this from? He's like, no, the guy said that they're in good working order, and he did the internals, and they're ready to go. And I was just like, have you even powered them up? He's like, no. So bless his heart. Okay, bless his heart. Like the client of ours, he trusted people so much that he took the word of somebody that obviously when we attempted, we even attempted to get him to work, guys. We even tried to help him, even though they were one of those. You remember the Triton? They were one of the hardest freaking machines to program and start. We couldn't do it. We couldn't. And on top of that, like half of the machines didn't work. So that was a bust, and it was heartbreaking because he spent 4 grand on those ATMs. So guys, when you guys are out on Facebook Marketplace, or you guys are out there and somebody's out there with a good deal on the machine, you're like, oh well, I could get this like this. Don't ever shortcut that part of the process. Buy new when you are new. Okay, Mike, what do you got on this?
And don't buy on Amazon, please.
Yeah,
There's no warranty on them. So yeah, no, it just reminds me of a story. I just dealt with a client last week. He's brand new. We've all told him, no, you need to buy brand new because of everything we just discussed. But he ended up buying some old Hantles. They're like 10 years old. Unfortunately, those keypads had the old B1 keypads, and like the keypads on here, guys, get updated every, I don't know, 8 to 10 years whenever there's PCI compliance stuff. But we couldn't program it. We couldn't inject new master keys and encrypt it, and he just spent what, $1,900 for a used ATM that was 9 years old, 10 years old. And he bought 3 of them, right? So the point I'm making is be careful out there right now, because there are a lot of deployers trying to dump their older machines as they buy and replace them with new ones, because of the new keypad requirements that's going into effect in 2026. Like anything from 2019 and above, you're okay. But even then, you don't know if that machine's had a million transactions or not, right? And you guys, the craziest part is the machine's like $2,500, but the dispenser that dispenses the cash in here is like $1,900 brand new. It's darn near the price of an ATM. So they buy these used machines. The dispenser goes out within a couple weeks. Now they're in the whole $1,900. They might as well just buy a brand new one and have the warranty, because these machines, when you buy them new, they come with a 2-year warranty, parts warranty on it. Anything goes wrong, it gets replaced. And we handle that for you guys. RMAs, we'll send them in. You get your part within a few days, and that's it. So just be careful, guys, out there. Super careful.
love
I
that.
hear more stories all the time,
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah. And I mean, as you guys get into this industry, you guys are just going to hear more and more horror stories. Just keep it simple. Okay, there's a trend here. We love to say it because people like to overthink. So we're helping you guys out right now by saying, hey, just buy new. Okay, don't question it, just do it. All right. So, guys, let's streamline the rest of this process because we're going to be talking about it in lesson 2. Okay. And actually, we're going to make this fun for everybody right now in our community. If you're currently watching on Instagram, make sure to go ahead and tune in. Click the link in the bio. Join us for our live question and answer session right now about finding locations. Okay. So, we're going to be talking about finding locations, making simple offers, installing your ATM, monitoring the first 30 days, and then rinse and repeat, guys. Okay. In our next session. All right. Now, guys, once again, drop your questions down below right now. We're going into session 2. Okay. Just because we're running out of time right now. Let me go here. Okay. So, top 5 tips in finding locations in the ATM industry for 2026, plus bonus Q&A. All right, Mike, take it away, brother. What do you got for tip number 1?
Tip number 1 is becoming a customer first. Out of all the different advice I've gotten and I've tried to apply over the last 12 years, a lot of it hasn't worked. And I've stuck with what worked. I talked to you guys before about barriers, right? If you just walk into any random location and interrupt Paul Alex's day when he's owning a business, he's trying to run his busy restaurant, and I'm like interrupting his day, and he doesn't know who I am, and I walk in and say, "Hey, how would you like an ATM?" And I'm trying to turn it into a sales pitch. He's gonna be like, "Kick rocks, I'm busy," right? Just like every phone call he gets for sales, he's like, I'm busy, right? Hang up. So the way around that, I call that barrier the green monster of sales, is to actually become a customer first. It does a couple things. When you are a patron of their business and you go in there, let's say it's a barbershop, perfect example, guys. I go and get my head cut pretty short at a new barber, probably once a month. A new barber, I always visit a new barber for this reason, okay? When I have done my market analysis on a barbershop, I know they got more than 5 chairs. I know it's cash intensive. I've looked at the Google reviews and they're busy as all get up, right? Good reviews, everything's outstanding. I'm going to walk into that barbershop and make an appointment to cut my hair with the owner. Okay? And I'll walk out. I'll then show up for my appointment. Now I have 30 minutes in that chair with the owner. And for the first 20 minutes, I'm getting to know the owner. I have not even mentioned anything about the ATM business. And by that 25-minute mark, they know the names of they know I've got kids. I know how many kids they got. I'm asking questions. I'm asking about their needs and how their business is running. I'm complimenting them, basically stroking their ego. And what that has done is created trust, right? That green monster, that barrier is now down. And I ask them one simple question. Hey, I like to pay cash tips. Where's your ATM? And I go,
Hooking them
"Oh,
in.
I never thought of having one." I'm like, "You know what? You're in luck, man. I am local. I'll give you guys one for free and I'll install it tomorrow, man. How does that sound? Your tips will increase, lower your credit card fees, yada, yada, yada." Just a nonchalant conversation. I land like 95% of my barbershops just by doing that. It is as simple as that. And I get a fresh haircut and they got a new client, right? They're more apt to saying yes to you as a client than somebody walking in and interrupting their day as a salesperson. Because the great thing about the ATM business is it doesn't cost the merchant anything. You're actually giving them this ATM for free to help them lower their credit card fees and drive cash. More tips. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I won't get into about cash, but they like cash. Okay. And you're really not, at the end of the day, you're not selling something you're giving for free. It should just be a conversation, and I'm here to support your business. Mr. Merchant, if your POS goes down or internet goes down, these machines, you guys, have its own internet on them. So if their internet goes down, my machine will still work and they can still conduct business. Right? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is just do your market analysis, right? Make sure that they have the traffic, because let's face it, you guys, the real truth is in this business, from everything you hear out there, Like, oh yeah, you're going to make $1 million and all these things. But the reality is half of the locations you go out and get are not going to be very good. You're going to have to move it. That's just the reality. That's why I say for the first couple years, you're going to play musical ATMs and you're going to be able to move it. It's real easy to move it. That's why you should always be finding new locations, right? And so after a certain amount of time of doing that, you're moving machines, replacing the slow ones. After 3 or 4 or 5 years, you've got 20, 25 machines. You've replaced your income and you're financially free. So, tip number 2 is do your due diligence and your market analysis. Make sure that you are aware of the daily foot traffic, because the rule of thumb is even if the merchant accepts credit cards, 3 to 5% of the daily traffic will use the ATM every day. So if I've got a merchant, and this isn't really for cash intensive like salons and barbershops and places that take a lot of tips, that number is a lot higher. But even like a convenience store, right? If they're seeing 100 people a day, I know I'm getting 3 to 5 transactions a day at $3.50. I'm in the money. I'm making 4 to 500 to $600 a month. That's perfect. So do your due diligence. Make sure you don't just shotgun spray ATMs anywhere and everywhere, because I did that early on and I made that big mistake. I ended up having a lot of locations not doing well. And I learned that lesson. I should do some research before I just start throwing ATMs in places. Right. So giving you the education so you avoid doing that. Um, Tip number 3, obviously, here's a big one, Paul, and we're going to go into this later. Look for locations that are doing cash discount, because they are offering a cash discount to their customers. That makes the ATM business and finding merchants a big blue ocean, because every merchant's doing it now. And it opens the door to locations that weren't good before, like auto body shops. Perfect example, Paul. Their average invoice is $1,000 to $1,500. Customers don't want to pay a 4%. They don't want to pay 40 to 50 bucks paying their invoice, getting charged 4% on a cash discount. So they'll use my ATM 2 or 3 times and pay $12 or $14 and save all that money not paying the credit card fee, and I win. Like the volume is significantly increased on locations like that. So any business that's doing cash discount and ATM, and that's why I tell you, for the next 15, 20 years, this business is going to be rocking and rolling ATMs.
And just to piggyback on that, man, I mean, like, not only are you guys going ahead and helping them reduce the credit card processing fees, but then you're also allowing them to make a little bit of money as well, especially if you're giving them a part of your surcharge fees from your ATMs. So not only are you putting a lot of money back into their pocket on the credit card processing side, but then you're also making them another stream of passive income. And I feel like true entrepreneurs and small business owners that have been around for a very long time, they truly value passive income. Even guys, even if it's like a couple $100 a month, that's still a couple $100 that they weren't making before, right? So they value that, especially if they don't have to do anything for it. Okay. So we have a question by Shane. So would you put both a cashless ATM and an actual ATM at the tire shop? So cashless ATM, you're referring to the cash discount terminal, and an ATM, yes. You could put both. And here's the cool thing about this, Shane, is that you could do either or first. You don't have to sell it as like a package unless you get smooth with it. And that's my advice. You want to get smooth with selling both at the same time. So I would go ahead and venture off to the smaller accounts first and see which is easier for you to pitch. Go with what you're good at, and once you have perfected that and you're like, okay, cool, I have a few accounts under my belt. Now let me go ahead and work with the harder offer and then double down on getting that perfected. And then once you get good at both, then start pitching both, right? I see it too many times. And Mike, I know you can also chime in that people want to look like that they're experts. It's either by going ahead and getting into the technology of ATMs or credit card machines, using big words that they don't even understand. Guys, this is a people's business. So you got to understand this is like if your customer doesn't have clarity, or they don't understand how it works because you're just making it too complex, the chances of them signing up with you is not going to happen. Okay. So keep it as simple as possible. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I know the owner of a shop in my town and have spoken to him already. So this was a great example. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Glad it works, man. One of my first credit card processing businesses was a tire shop. And that first business did about 450 bucks. It was actually cool. We went to Mike, while you were in San Diego, when
I
I
was
was
there
living.
with you that day.
Yeah, short story, short story. So short story. We had just gone ahead and started doing this back in 2022, and I was still living in San Diego before I moved to Miami. And then I had just got a lead at a tire shop, and Mike had just visited me, and then I was just like, "Yo, you want to go to this prospect with me?" He was like, "Okay." So we went, talked to the lady. It was the lady and the husband, and she was cool. She was just like, "Yeah, makes total sense." Their current issue, so you guys know, is that their current processing company was holding about $30,000 of their money. And this happens quite frequently, guys, especially when the businesses they go ahead and they offer new services. So before they were just selling tires, but then they started selling tires and rims. And you guys know rims are expensive. So now when they start selling packages that are worth like $5,000, $10,000, the processing company, because you guys know this if you guys are already doing credit card processing, but you know that there is underwriting. Okay, and underwriting protects you against fraud. Okay, so it's a big red flag unless you advise your processing company that you're going to start selling bigger packages, which means more revenue. Okay, so it just comes down to communication, and this is a little bit more advanced, guys. I don't want to confuse you, but that was initially the pain point that we were able to find, and we were like, "Oh yeah, no, no, you don't got to worry about that with us." And then Mike was actually able to sell them right there on the spot. I mean, he just clicked, and I'll tell you that from experience, guys. Go ahead and pick a friend, go with a friend, go with somebody else, and you never know. You know, they might be attracted to one of you guys, and then boom, that's it. That's what closes the deal, right? Everybody has their avatar. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, that was actually a wild day because you were pitching her, and then all of a sudden she wanted to talk to me and get my input, and then we were, it was a wild day. That was such a great experience.
Yeah.
End of the day, they're happy though, right? Got them taken care of. So to piggyback off of that, if you get the merchant, here's what's going to set you guys apart from any other merchant services agents. Okay, this is what I love about being in the ATM business, Paul. If I land the merchant services first, I'm going to tell them because you work with me and I'm your agent, you get an ATM for free, just in case as a backup if that POS goes down or you have issues with it, or if there's disruption in internet, my ATM is going to come save the day,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Oh goodness, man, it's just like gold. It's like gold into their music to their ears, right? And
Yeah.
what's great to answer the question to have both, yes, because much higher ticket, especially a tire shop, if they're spending $1,000 or more on a 4% cash discount, that's 40 bucks. They can use your ATM and pay with cash and save a lot of money by using cash. And they're going to get a discount, the customer. And also the merchant's going to be very happy because it's cash.
Mhm.
There you go.
Works out, man. It works out. So, Mike, what do you got for these last two, man?
So the last two, of course, the same thing. I think I touched two and one is become their customer first, but I also building the relationships before you pitch anything. People just don't trust people anymore. They're getting sold to on their cell phones all day long on ads. That everywhere they look and turn around, they're getting sold to, right? The relationship is missing in today's society. People just want a connection, and more so now than ever. Go in and support their business, get to know them. It's a longevity play. We're in this business for many years. It's our career. We're not going anywhere. I'm speaking for everyone here. You're not just going to be in this for 6 months and be out. When you make the decision today to get in, you're in it for life, because once you start getting taste of residual income, and again, going back to what I first said, once you get your assets paying for your liabilities and that's covered, you're financially free, you're buying your time back. The most important thing you can do is have relationships with your merchants, strong relationships. And that's by being a patron and just supporting their business. That's how you build the relationship first, is go support their business, talk about their business, stroke their ego, become friends with them. It's really, really key because I'll tell you right now, I've got machines in dang near all 50 states at this point, and I had one of my large accounts, Paul, out in Montana. He calls me the other day. We're just bullshitting, and he says, "Mike, you're lucky I love you because I get at least 2 calls a week trying to replace your ATM in here. But I love you. I know your kids. Like we have a relationship, and I trust you." That just confirms everything that I'm saying here. He won't leave me because of the trust, right? Trust is built. So trust first. The last one, if you're struggling out there, right? Just phone calls, texts, they don't work. Not for me, they don't work. They may work for you. I like to show up and be present, and then persistence wears down resistance. I said it before, Paul. A no right now doesn't mean no forever. It just means I don't know you yet. So you're going to build a relationship and you're going to be persistent. Your
Facts.
persistence will wear down their resistance. Some of my biggest deals I've ever gotten in the ATM space, which are still paying me 5 years later, took me like 18 months to get. For example, 18 months, I bugged the heck out of this. Bless her soul, she passed away, and her husband now runs it. But I called her once a week for 18 months, and she literally was cussing me out and was going to get a restraining order on me. Literally, Paul, if you call me again, F this, just the whole thing, right? And I say, I apologize. I'm just trying to be friendly. What did I do the next day? I delivered donuts to the entire staff, right? 2 weeks later, because they didn't have an ATM, 2 weeks later, they had a director's meeting. One of the head directors says, I think we should get an ATM for our stores. And of course, she's like, I know the guy. He's been driving me crazy for the last 18 months. I get a call, bam, 4 ATMs. She says, okay, you've been driving me crazy. I want all of them installed by tomorrow. Of course, I was on vacation in Nebraska. I'm going, Lee, I need help. I need 4 machines right now.
That's
Got to
awesome.
install them tomorrow. That's why we have ATMs. If you're going to be in the business, always have a spare one because you're going to get a yes and they're going to want it right now. Luckily, we had them. We had them installed, and here we are 5.5 years later. And they've actually grown for 4 more stores too. 4 more stores. And they're one of those his name's David. He told me, he's like, Mike, we don't just work with any vendor. Once you're in, and we don't work with anybody else. I promise you that. We'll never leave you. Right? That's all it takes. Persistence wears down resistance every single time, you guys. I promise. If you get a no, just keep bugging them.
It's
Keep
like
building.
a relationship, any relationship, right? It's a work in progress no matter what. So guys, you got to show them that you want to be there, and they'll show you loyalty as well. They'll take care of you. That's just the way business is, right? Short story is, if any of you guys have had a consultation with any of my sales team, okay, I have a consultant by the name of Brandon Pham. He's been in the ATM industry for a very long time. I mean, since he's been in college, I've known him. I knew Brandon since I was a cop, okay, because he lived in the same area. He lived in San Jose. I was living in Walnut Creek at the time, and he actually responded to one of my what was it? My Craigslist ads. Okay, if you guys remember Craigslist, because I was selling one ATM that I didn't need anymore. I probably had like 7 ATMs in my garage. I had a few spares or whatnot. So then he answered, and this was back in 2019, and I had remember that I was going on a trip towards the end of 2019, going into 2020 to Egypt, and I was gonna leave for 11 days. Okay, so this is to piggyback on what Mike is saying about having spare ATMs. When I had left, my mentor from Southern California hits me up and goes, "Hey, Paul, I got about 2 dispensaries." At that time, marijuana dispensaries were hot. If you were able to land a couple marijuana dispensaries back then, and even now, guys, because of federal regulations, right? There's just straight cash. You're putting like 2, 3 ATMs in a dispensary because you're going to cash flow. Okay. And the dispensaries that I had during that time were around like $1,500. Okay. We're talking about profit every single month, guys. So that's how many transactions we were getting from that. Okay. And I was splitting that with my mentor at that time because he had to connect. So I tell him, hey, dude, I'm about to leave for Egypt tomorrow. I can't do it. He goes, well, do you have anyone else do you trust like to go ahead and take care of the installations? And then, they could go ahead and vault these machines for me. Okay. And Mike could go into what vaulting is here in the next couple of minutes. But vaulting is essentially where you fill the ATM with your cash and you get paid a percentage of the surcharge fee. Okay. The person who you're doing that for is what we like to call the primary. Okay. The primary is the one that has usually the contract with the location, with the business owner. And then they're the ones that's their actual machine. Like they pay for the machine and all that jazz. Right. So for maintenance, you usually take care of it depending on the terms of the contract that you signed up with the primary. But at the end of the day, it's a good way to make some money if you have the cash flow. Right. So I was like, dude, I can't, let me hit up this kid. I just sold my ATM. Seems like he's good. At that time, Brandon, okay, if you guys talk to him, really good guy. Now he works for with Cashwipe, okay. And at that time, the dude was studying to be a dentist, believe it or not. Okay, he ended up being an entrepreneur. So I call him. I was like, "Hey, dude, do you want 2 dispensaries?" He's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. Like, you'll make like probably like $1,000 from every dispensary. So that's an extra $2,000 he was able to make just off of number one, building a relationship. Your network is your net worth. Number two, having the actual ATMs in stock. Because if he didn't have the ATMs in stock, he'd be screwed. My mentor would have gone with someone else who had the ATMs right there ready to install, guys. So those are 2 big needle movers that Mike was just talking about. It is key, especially when you want to get into this business. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always good to be prepared. I say the same thing with credit card processing terminals. Always have a couple, like I have one in your car, have one like at your home or in your office, because you never know, you might meet that one person, right? You're out to dinner, you're out, out there just with your family. You might meet that one person that might be interested in your business, and then they're like, oh, what does the terminals look like, or do you have like something that you could show me? Boom, how powerful it is that you're able to go in your car and boom, be like, yeah, this is exactly what you know I'm moving these type of units. And then they're like, wow, like this is amazing. Let's go ahead up and set up the deal. And that's how fast this happens. Sometimes it doesn't take months. Sometimes it does. But guys, I mean, this is straight knowledge from experience. Okay. So make sure that you guys are prepared and make sure you guys network. Your network is your net worth.